It started as any note would, the doctor acknowledging the patient is sick and excuses that patient from work. But then it takes a turn. Here's what it goes on to say. I have no test for the common cold and therefore believe him/her. However, you feel his time and mine should be wasted by making him sit in the walk-in clinic for hours and me spending time writing a sick note that I could be spending on people who genuinely need my attention. Please reconsider your policy on this. There are surely better ways of wasting your tax dollars. That note has been viewed nearly 4 million times, many of those people having perhaps been in a similar situation. One man who's been on the other end of those notes, handing them out, is Dr. Bill Cavers. He's president of Doctors of BC, and he joins us now live from Victoria. What do you make of what seemed like kind of a grumpy note from that doctor in Alberta?
You have to understand that this type of note can be the bane of a doctor's existence. It flies in the face of public health policy. We're trying our best to encourage sick people to stay home and not go into the public where they can infect other people. So going out when you're sick and getting a doctor's note contravenes all we're trying to teach people to do. Then, if a person is not sick and they go out afterwards to get the note, then we as a physician are placed in the position where the patient is well, they say they were sick a couple of days ago, and it's not our job to determine whether that person was sick 2 days ago, but not now.
So in your practice, have you run into this? Have you had people come to your office over the years asking for a doctor's note? And tell me about those circumstances.
All the time. I've had people come in feeling extremely ill. They've gotten themselves out of bed and have come in to get the note because they know they're going to either lose a day's pay or be penalized at work for not getting it. And they don't need my attention. They acknowledge they don't need my attention, except they need me to certify that they're actually sick. It is not the best interest of the patient. It's certainly not in the best interest of the public because, as that note did say, usually the patients are waiting for an hour or two, and they're waiting because there are other people that want to see the doctor. So it is the bane of a doctor's existence. It's a waste of our time many times. I think the policy should be reviewed.
What would your advice be to employers and managers who may be watching right now?
Rethink your policy. Rethink what it actually does to the public health system. Rethink what it does to people, and start thinking of other ways that your employees could receive sick benefits without being forced to go in and see another professional just to get a note. I have no problem seeing sick people. That's my job, to help them when they're sick. But to have a person come in sheepishly asking for a note, it's kind of like, I need to get out of school. The other thing about it that bothers me is it's not really equitable. It usually affects people on the lower edge of the pay scale a bit more than people on the upper edge. And I've had patients come in who are totally unable to pay for the note. It's not okay for me to build a medical system for a note of the patient's not there because they're sick. So, you know, we eat it and we give them notes all the time, but it is an irksome thing.
So we just have a few seconds left, but let me ask you this. I assume that this is brought in because sometimes employers don't necessarily trust their workers and think that they're claiming to be sick when they're not. How should they deal with that?
It's not my training to determine whether a person is trustworthy when they're sick or not. And when you look at the note, the benefit accrues to the employer. So really the employer should be bearing the costs.
All right, Dr. Cavers, this is an interesting issue and really nice talking to you.
Thank you very much for your interest.